Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm sharing one of my favorite Christmas plum cake, also known as Kerala fruit cake. Plum cake or fruit cake, as it is more fondly known as, is a Christmas delicacy, and during the Christmas season bakeries in Kerala are flooded with plum cakes. Traditionally, plum cakes are made by soaking dry fruits in alcohol. So you need some extra preparations to soak the dry fruits for about 2 to 3 weeks prior to making the cake. So this plum cake is for those busy people who don't have the time for soaking fruits, or for those people who don't prefer to have alcohol based cakes. The reason why this recipe is one of my favorite is because when I was 19 or 20 years old, my amma sent me to a baking class, and like any young girl, I was very much interested in the whole technique of baking. It was in that class I learned some good baking tips, which was very helpful even many years later. This was the first cake I baked for my family, and I was so thrilled at the outcome when I baked it that Christmas. Over the years, I perfected the recipe with minor changes, and to make it more healthy, I avoided maida and refined white sugar. The cake is soft, moist, and super tasty, a perfect treat for Christmas. And I have made this recipe so easy that even a beginner in baking can make without much effort. So guys, not living in Kerala is not an excuse for not baking this cake. And anything made at home is always better than store-bought ones. So let's get started with the recipe. The ingredients list and more tips will be updated below this video for your easy understanding. You need 2/3 cups of butter. I'm using salted butter, and for your ease, I'm showing how I measure 2/3 cups of butter. Adding the butter into a bowl. Remember that the butter should be at room temperature. Now grease a round cake tin. I usually place the butter wrapper like I am showing after greasing the cake tin. I also like to cut out some extra butter paper and place it in the center of the pan and keep this aside. To make the caramel syrup into a saucepan, add in half cup organic sugar, and once the sugar starts to heat, allow it to caramelize on low flame. Once the sugar has caramelized, turn off the flame and add in 1/4 cup water slowly. Now when you add water, you may need to step back a little as it may bubble up, and that is the reason why I am using a tall saucepan. The sugar may harden when water is added. Turn the heat back on and allow it to get heated on low flame so that the sugar crystals completely dissolve. It should take about 5 to 7 minutes, and once the sugar has dissolved, keep it aside and allow it to cool down. Now into my small chutney grinder, I'm adding in 1 cup organic sugar, a small piece of cinnamon, 2 cardamoms, I'm only using the seeds, a small piece of nutmeg and 1 clove. Grind this to a fine powder and keep this aside. Into another bowl, add in 1/4 cup black raisins. Chop some cashew nuts and measure half cup of cashew nuts and then add it into the bowl. Chop some dates and measure 1/4 cup of chopped dates and add it into the bowl. Next, take some badam and chop them and measure 1/4 cup of badam and add it into the bowl. So our caramel syrup is also ready now, and it has cooled down also. Into the softened butter, I'm adding in the powdered sugar, and with a whisk, I'm lightly mixing the butter and the powdered sugar. And then I'm using my egg beater to make it more creamier and fluffy. Scrape down the sides in between beating and add in 3 eggs one by one. So after you add each egg, mix with the beater, scrape down the sides with the spatula in between. Once the eggs are mixed well, add in 1 teaspoon vanilla essence. Now into another bowl, add in 1 cup whole wheat flour and 1 teaspoon baking powder. Mix it well and sieve it into the bowl. Now take 2 to 3 teaspoons of the whole wheat flour and add it into the chopped dry fruits mix, and make sure the nuts and dates are well coated with the wheat flour. Now what this does is, when you coat with the wheat flour, it prevents the dry fruits from sinking down once the cake is baked. So the dry fruits will be evenly distributed while the cake is being baked. So do not skip this process. Now it's time to preheat the oven at 180 degrees Celsius. Add in 1/4 of the wheat flour and little caramel syrup into the sugar, eggs and butter mix and fold and mix with a spatula. The folding technique I am showing will help to trap the air bubbles, which will make the cake soft. Add in the rest of the wheat flour and caramel syrup little by little. Once the batter is folded well, this is how it should look like. The batter should be thick and creamy. Add in the dry fruits little at a time and fold with the spatula. Mixing the batter with the spatula in one direction is called folding. Slowly pour the batter into the prepared cake tin. Tap the tin a couple of times on the countertop to release air bubbles if there are any, and bake in the preheated oven for 50 to 55 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. And once baked, a toothpick inserted in the center should come out clean. Allow it to cool down lightly and then run a knife around the sides. And carefully turn the cake over and remove the butter paper. Homemade Kerala fruit cake is ready, and it is so much healthier and tastier than bakery cake. Now usually fruit cakes should be allowed to rest for a day before cutting, else when cutting the cake may crumble and break. But since I'm pretty sure my son will not allow the cake to rest even for another half an hour, I decided to cut the cake so that you can also see how it looks. And as you can see, the cake did not crumble and break while cutting. This is also one of the reasons why I love this cake. A perfect last minute cake to make for Christmas. Soft, moist and tasty. Enjoy Christmas with Kerala plum cake and let me know how it turned out. Don't forget to like, comment and share this video with family and friends. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care. Bye bye.